Hello all, warm welcome to the webinar on digital transformation trends in manufacturing industry. So today we are going to cover digital transformation introduction, some bases like digital evolution and the four pillars of digital transformation. And then we are going to cover the digital transformation in the core manufacturing, why manufacturing need to head first into the digital transformation, and some of the key digital transformation trends like IoT and Industry 4.0, decision science, customer experience. Then we'll be heading to the implementation aspect, like how you will be implementing, how can DX can be implemented in your organization. And then we will go through two case studies, like how a chemical manufacturing company uses DX for the customer experience. So my name is Anish. I'm heading the digital transformation practice at CRT Technologies, and I'm the solution architect for the customers. And I head for the customer transformation process, part of the digital transformation, and I sit with the customers for the consulting, and I derive the entire digital strategy for our customers, derive the roadmap, and help them for deriving the right solutions for the digital transformation. So here we are starting with the digital transformation. We abbreviate here it as DX. So let's talk about some of the key aspects, like what is the digital evolution. So the digital evolution actually it starts with digitization. So in case of manufacturing industries, let me take an example for an electronic manufacturer who manufactures devices like a, calculator, TV, television, those kind of stuff. So this manufacturing company initially they produces these kind of devices, and the data is not stored somewhere. That means like they are following a traditional system, but they are not digitizing the data into a computer, or computerization has not happened. So first process what they have to do is like entire customer data, entire sales data, whatever data related to their manufacturing process, operational process, that has to be computerized in a way that can be consumed to the future needs. So this particular process of computerization, very basic step, that is called the digitization. We call it as conversion of data. And the ultimate advantage of this digitization process is scalability, security, efficiency, easy to process, and economical to handle. And the next step is called the digitalization. It is nothing but the adaptation of the process. For example, the same manufacturer, I'm taking the example of the same manufacturer who caters the electronic products to end users. So this particular company, they want to adopt some of the collaboration technologies. They want to interact with the customers, and understand like what is the customer need or market need for their boosting up their particular business. For example, like the current trends, like social media is getting a trend, Facebook, Twitter, and the social media analytics, all those kind of items. So this manufacturer thinks like, okay, let me create a website so that I can interact with my customers. Let me create a Facebook page. And this kind of adoption, he is, or they are trying to create a customer connect directly. So this process is called digitalization. Now the ultimate one, digital transformation. It is the process of creation of business around it. So here, what happens is like, okay, now the manufacturer has already completed the digitization, and they adopted some of the process, and they made a connect with the customers. Now what they're thinking is like, okay, let me launch an e-commerce platform where I will sell the products directly to the end users. So here the creation of business happens. And part of this, like he uses some of the key aspects like decision science, robots, IoT, cloud. He makes use of the business bots, consulting, customer experience. He launches cyber security so that his e-commerce platform gets secured, and the connections are tech savvy, or it is very easy for the customers. So this is the digital evolution. We can move to the next one. So these are the four pillars of digital transformation. So starting with the customer acquisition. So we all know like customer acquisition is important stuff in case of a business to grow. So here acquiring customers can be done in an efficient way by designing personalized customer experiences. So develop new offerings to enhance the customer experience, engage with existing customers in friction-free ways. So this particular pillar, customer acquisition, has got a lot of importance in case of digital transformation. So analyzing and embedding this particular pillar into the DNA makes a real benefit for implementing the digital transformation and getting the ROI. And the second pillar is like business model. So this is nothing but the business is rolled out always based upon the market need or the customer need. So the new data driven or data driven market offerings are developed. So understanding the customer analytics, or understanding what kind of business will be helping my customers, what kind of business will be hit in the market, those kind of analysis will help you to derive business based upon the pure data. And focus upon high margin offerings, create differentiators, then finding new ways to bundle existing services. So these all are related to the business model revamping. I'll say it as disruption of entire market or the existing market. The third stuff is like culture. It purely relates to the organization, internal to the organization, where it is the backbone of the organization, where the transparency with employees and customers has to be there, fostering a culture of rapid experimentation. So the culture is also aligning to your digital DNA. The fourth one is the core operations, where you are trying to optimize the operations. So in part of the bottom line, increasing the bottom line, so you have to optimize the operations so that your net profit is always increasing and your core expenses are reducing. So this optimization can be done using digitalizing, connecting the existing systems, automating some of the processes, in making some real-time decision making process. So all of these will help you to reduce the operational parameters, operational costs, and increase the bottom line effectively. So these four pillars are mainly considered for deriving a digital strategy for a customer. We'll move to the next one. So here we are going to discuss about the digital transformation in the manufacturing industry to the core. So part of that, like this is a traditional flow of a manufacturing industry. For example, like in case of a manufacturing industry, always it starts with the supplier who provides the raw materials which supports the manufacturing process. So the raw materials are provided to the factory where the manufacturing process happens, and after the manufacturing process, the product is sent for quality assurance, packaging, and then it is stored properly so that it can be shipped to the customer. So this is a traditional manufacturing flow. Now we are going to see like why manufacturing needs to adopt DX or the digital transformation. So nowadays the market is emerging in a way like there are a lot of new entrants are coming. So all of the folks, they have the mindset of being an entrepreneur, and they are aware of all the strategies, how to become a very competitive or how to become a successful businessman. So these kind of business strategies or entrepreneurial strategies, thought process is has created a very competitive market. So the competitive market is emerging. So what happens is like these guys, the new entrants, they keep on disrupting the market with their new ideas, new thought process, new business models, and which will cater the customers in different ways and in a seamless way. So currently, what will happen? The new entrants. So you can see a graph on the right side, which is nothing but the growth chart, enterprise value versus time. You can see a blue line. So the blue line represents the disruptive competitors or disruptive guys who are keep on challenging, who are keep on adapting according to the customer need or market need. So these guys, they have a very high exponential growth rate, or you can see the growth is happening in an exponential way. But see the orange line, that is the uncompetitive or the traditional manufacturing companies. They remain uncompetitive, and ultimately their growth rate is far lesser compared to the disruptive ones. So here, in order to make these companies competitive, the strategy adopted is like DX or digital transformation. You can see some kind of delta. So the delta is nothing but the small change management initiatives which is done to the uncompetitive or traditional manufacturing industries to remain competitive. So Part of DX, small items, we identify the key pain areas which with very economical or effective campaigns. So you have to focus upon the key pain area first, and then what is the low cost effort, or you have to burn only the lowest cost to introduce or to introduce this change management. So part of assuming like, okay, you are following a economical pattern and you are going to remain competitive, this change management will help you to achieve some success or most of the success and remain competitive in the market and beat the other guys. So this is what the importance of adopting DX or digital transformation in the manufacturing industry. So healthy and focused disruption helps the company to grow exponentially. So this is what we are heading towards. Like we help the customers to cater very healthy and focused disruptions. So let's move to the key trends of digital transformation. So first one is Internet of Things or IoT, where you all are aware like the devices nowadays, devices are available which has the internet within it, which has the capability to connect, process people and network or cloud, and then transfer data, store data, compute data at the edge itself. So these kind of devices can accelerate the business models. For example, trackers, most of the apps, mobile apps, using location trackers. Most of the shops, they started tracking the location of customers and push for offers. Sensors, companies are manufacturing companies are using sensors to understand what is the particular lubricant level in a machinery, and then go for a condition based maintenance on time to time. And kiosks are being used for collecting, gathering information. So the next stuff is like decision science. The decision science is like most of the manufacturing companies, they have a lot of humongous data, humongous raw data, which is very complex to understand, and they don't know how to derive business insights out of this data. The practice which deals with analyzing the data, organizing the data, and then understanding, deriving insights of the data which can be used for creating business roadmaps, that called decision science. And ultimately next one is customer experience. So without customers, any of the company cannot survive. So customer experience is an ultimate stuff to the digital transformation. So here you can see some of the elements: omni-channel assurance, net promoter system, digital marketing. We will discuss all of the elements in detail. So combining all of these trends, that makes the ultimate digital transformation. So let's discuss about this trends in detail. For example, we are going to explain the trend one, which is the IoT and the industry 4.0. So Internet of Things. So as you all know, Internet of Things are devices which are equipped with internet and data storage or data transfer capabilities. So these devices can interact with the different situations and tag events or send these events to different locations. For example, like sensors, fluid level can be detected in a manufacturing industry. The temperature of a particular machine can be detected, humidity, color, flow, speeds. All of these aspects help the manufacturing companies to schedule their maintenance on time, give alerts to the mill supervisors or plant managers. And robots are some of the resources, or I'll call it as like a super IoT, or far more than a god of IoT or something like that. So the robots are currently used for replacing human beings to tackle the tedious work. For example, like in India, robots are being used for cleaning the manhole, those kind of stuff. Wearables or health bands, where you are using those for tracking your health. So you can walk, you can sleep, you can whatever activities you are doing, the wearables will record the moment and the data and the count, and that would be transferred to a system where you can see some mobile app with the dashboard reports, and that will be directly going to a medical practitioner. So without any hassle, like you can directly get your medical monitoring, remote monitoring done. So all of the stuff which helps like business, or which helps the customers connect their lives in a very hassle-free way. Now let's see like how the Internet of Things IoT helps in manufacturing. So this is the layout of a plant where you can see some of the production process happening. So monitor production flow in real time to eliminate waste. So this production flow, like movement of the items and mixing of the raw materials, applying the raw materials, can be monitored in a real time, and the supervisors can understand, okay, where the wastage is happening or where the delay is happening, and equipments can be managed remotely, which will help saving lot of effort, lot of human aspects, lot of human effort, and that can be scheduled properly so that you can save some energy, say, reduce the costs, and the condition based maintenance can be done so that you need not call the technicians to do a service of the machinery from time to time. So when the fluid level decreases, or when any particular part gets damaged, the sensor or the IoT sends an alert to the technician saying like, hey, this is due for a maintenance, so he can quickly come and do the maintenance. He doesn't even need to do a regular checkup or something like that. So lot of efforts are getting saved, part of the implementation of the IoT in manufacturing. And you can see some of the aspects like logistics, where the APIs are integrated with the plants and also the suppliers or the distributors, and they decide like, okay, when the factories are running out of stock, an alert has sent to the supplier, and the supplier delivers raw materials instantly. So these kind of aspects help to save a lot of effort, reduce the cost, and run the plant operations in a very economical and efficient way. So you can see some of the, it helps the manufacturing plant, it helps the global facility, it helps the customer side, it helps the global operations. So you get a centralized view or bird's eye view of your operations. That is the main advantage of implementing the IoT in the manufacturing industry. Let's move to the next one. So here, this is an industry 4.0. So you can see this is the evolution of the manufacturing industry, where it started 1784. Industry 1 started, where the mechanization or the steam power weaving loom was launched or initiated. And the industry part of industry 2.0, the industry saw a shift, like mass production of assembly line, in assembly line electrical energy, using electrical energy, those kind of revamps or re-initiatives were launched. The part of industry 3.0, the entire production, the automation and computers, electronics, these were used for supporting the production. And industry 4.0 is nothing but the industry 3.0 plus the DX, digital transformation. So when you are applying the digital transformation in the current era, that becomes marks the revolution of industry 4.0, where the systems would be completely cyber physical systems. So though they are physical systems, they are connected with a cyber world, where the data is getting stored in a cloud, and the management and everything happens from a remote world, and the supervision and everything happens from a decentralized repository or decentralized management. So now systems are talking with each other, systems can take decisions, but ultimately there is no 100% automation, because there is always a supervised layer comes in between, part of the security strategy, just to assure the systems are not making any wrong decisions. So it is just for augmenting the current resources or current system. It is not replacing the entire system, because if you try to replace the entire system, what will happen is like the machines with some kind of intelligence will try to dominate, and it will create some kind of errors. So in order to prevent that, a security strategy is always required in case of implementing the digital transformation. And when the systems are connected, when the internet of things and networks and the cloud is launched, everything should be connected via a supervised layer. So we'll go through industry 4.0 ecosystem. So you can see like the already the data is stored in a cloud repository. So you can see the big data systems are supporting the storage of the entire factory, and you can see suppliers. Logistics 4.0 is nothing but the logistics layer is supported with the internet of things and the fully integrated supply chain interconnected systems, so that there is no delay happening, part of the coordination. A perfect coordination is always achieved. And you can see some of the trends like 3D printing, additive manufacturing. 3D printing is nothing but it's a rapid prototyping using the advanced technologies, so that the customers get a feeling like, hey, this would be my product. And nanotechnology is currently used in order to reduce the space of that particular machinery. Robots are used in order to tackle the tedious process. Autonomous vehicles are used. So altogether, this lays out a process called Industry 4.0, or it is a revolution in the manufacturing industry. It already started happening, and as part of CAT, we are helping customers to adopt into this DX and slowly start evolving into the Industry 4.0. So we'll go to the next trend where we are going to talk about decision science. So here, decision science is nothing. It is related to the decision making process out of the humongous data. So some of the aspects are like data mining. Data mining is nothing but taking or gathering the data from different platforms, different channels, and different situations, etc. And now once the data is gathered, you can do some analytics around it, and you can teach the systems or teach the algorithms to predict something. So that's called predictive modeling, where you are predicting, trying to predict like what will happen in the next month or what will happen in the next quarter. Deep learning is nothing but you are making the systems able to understand, okay, by seeing the picture, oh, what could be this, these kind of aspects. Neural networks are like decision trees, or where the systems can easily make some decisions out of the current data patterns. So we will go to, and other major aspect is cyber security and cloud. So cloud, I already explained, like that is particularly used for storing the data. So whatever the events associated to a manufacturing plant happening, if the data is moving to a cloud, it is easy to access. It can be distributed at any point of time, and it can be accessed by any machines, so that business decisions or business models can be created very easily. Cyber security is always needed because when you are putting all of these things together, systems will start communicating each other, and in order to avoid the conflict and the bad decisions or wrong decisions, you need a cyber security layer. And in order to prevent, like, you are making the data, making the systems, everything in a cyber world, so the security strategy is a key stuff. Blockchain is one of that. So where you are clubbing, we are creating some of the blocks to prevent the attack from different systems. So when the blocks are created, it cannot be modified until and unless you are getting approval from each and every node of that associated communication layer. So we'll go to the next one. So these are some of the decision science benefits in manufacturing. So part of the decision science, the predictions which happening in the manufacturing industry, which are common, like price prediction, factory output optimization, so supply chain control, the SKU, stock keeping unit, and inventory prediction. Product stewardship. Product stewardship is nothing but the compliance program. So whenever a manufacturer produces a particular product, he has to add some kind of information, like what is the composition and what are the hazardous information, how to handle this, how to store this, if this is exposed to skin, what will happen, what kind of instructions, all those instructions that can be generated using algorithms. So that is the product stewardship program. And predictive maintenance, I already mentioned, part of IoT. Then optimizing the procurement and resources. So all these are part of decision science. Now the benefits, what we are like seeing, like see the current stat, the 30 percentage of or less of potential data value is realized by most manufacturers. That means most of the manufacturers doesn't know what is the value of the data they are holding. So in order to expose the value, the decision science is keenly used. 60% of wasted expenses come from unnecessary operation and maintenance cost. 20 to 30% increase in delivery reliability. 80% of manufacturing costs are affected by decisions made in the design stage. So all these stats support, like, yeah, this is the advantage, or this is the importance of decision science. Why do you need a decision science? These stats are showing. So this is an interesting stuff where you can see the fair pricing prediction using machine learning. So this is part of the decision science. This is one of the engines which we developed at CAT. Here we had a customer who was always having problems with the selling price. The sales managers, they were selling the products based on their knowledge. The price was decided based on their knowledge, their analysis, but they were failing to take up all the kind of parameters or all kind of inputs which is required for deciding the price. So the engine was developed, and the engine was connected with the patterns, the raw material availability, and the supplier trends and the market trends, economy, different aspects like that. Now, an interesting pattern we plotted the historic data. What happened was, like, if they would have followed this fair pricing engine part of the sales, and if they have taken up the output from the engine and then effectively negotiated with their customers, they could have seen a 36% net gain in the total sale value. So this is one of the aspect where the decision science comes into a fruitful value. So this is nothing but fraud detection in procurement using machine learning. The procurement process is nothing but you need to procure some kind of raw materials for supporting the production process in the plant. So now you have a team like procurement managers and procurement executives, where they decide like, okay, I have to buy X amount of raw material from a supplier. Now you have all the list of suppliers and the pricing patterns and the delivery patterns. If you plot it using the decision science, you generate some insights, and if you plot it, you can see some similar clusters, and you can see the blue one, you can see some possible fraud also. So the odd ones here shows that can be a possible fraud, or these guys, or can be a fraudulent pricing or fraudulent delivery pattern. So they can make a decision like, hey, I have to eliminate these kind of suppliers in order to make my procurement process a healthy and consistent way. And this is one of the advantage. And that is about the trend 2, and we are heading towards the trend 3, where we are going to discuss about the customer experience. So here, this is very important, because any industry, any manufacturing company, they are surviving with customers only. So without dealing with customers, they cannot survive. So there are two segments here, B2B and B2C. So nowadays what happens is, like, B2B, the segments in B2B, they are expecting seamless customer experience as expected in B2C. So companies who are direct product companies or direct end user companies, those kind of companies are giving an exceptional experience to the customers. And B2B also, that segment is also expecting the seamless customer experience as delivered by the B2C. So we'll go to the aspects. So here, this is wonderful stuff which we call it as hyperloop or digital customer lifecycle. So here you can see this is an infinite loop. This all starts with the need. So customer has a need. Then what will happen is, like, based on the need, he will do some research before buying that particular product. So after his research, he will select the product and he will purchase it, and then he will start using it. You can see, like, the it evolves from purchase to use, and he will use it. So once he is satisfied, he can be satisfied, or he may have issues. Now he will start going to the customer service, where we mentioned the services, and after this, either he can recommend or he can lose. So once he is recommending, suppose he is recommending, again the cycle starts with need. Another need is generated, where another person or a different person will come and start the research and select. So this loop is always there. That means it's an infinite loop. You can see a lot of customers who are in and around the loop, and the campaigns help them to push to the cycle. So what will happen? They will end up in an infinite loop, and the cycle will keep on continuing. Now, this is the DNA for the entire customer life cycle, or this is the DNA for the which is supporting the manufacturing industries, which is supporting the production, which is supporting the need. Here you can see we have some enablers and platforms. This is nothing but the solutions, the services developed part of the digital transformation. You can see some cloud, IoT, analytics, mobile, social. So all of these items enables the process. All the items are designed and evolving, thinking like, okay, this is the DNA of the customer lifecycle. You can see CMS, e-commerce, marketing automation, social channel platforms are also actually emerging or depending upon this infinite cycle. So let's move to the key elements of digital customer experience. So here you can see omni-channel assurance. So omni-channel assurance is nothing but considering the customers in all possible channels. So whatever be the channel, you have to cater a seamless experience. So that is what the omni-channel assurance. Net promoter system. So here you are assuming like how many customers will support your brand, how many customers will promote your business, who all are laggards, they are pulling their business backward. The net difference is called net promoter system. So it will help you to identify the customer segments and then derive the business plans accordingly. So digital marketing is another stuff where you are marketing the products at a targeted channels with a focused audience. So all these items, omni-channel assurance and net promoter system, digital marketing, all of these are key elements of digital customer experience. And sentiment analysis is nothing but it is understanding the customer emotions in an automated way. For example, like if you have some feedback, customer feedback aggregated into different platforms, that can be analyzed using sentiment algorithms and give the response like, okay, whether this guy is talking about positively, negatively, or in a neutral fashion about the business. Voice analytics. So all of the companies, they do support customer calls via customer call centers. So what happens is like people think, okay, what is the use of these calls? It's simple. The voice analytics helps you to understand or derive business or derive insights out of it. It's very easy. Like all the recorded calls can be converted into a text and do a sentiment analysis, text analysis, and finally come into a conclusion like, okay, these are the business decisions I can make out of it. That practice itself is called voice analytics. Social media. So nowadays, most of the people, most of the audience are present in social media. The customer presence at social media is very high. That is why the customer experience programs, they are tackling or they are tapping the social media to understand customers and promote their business effectively. So let me discuss about the implementation approach to DX. So now we have seen the trends and we have seen the associated elements. Now how will we implement DX for a manufacturing industry? So we at Suyati, we adopt a three-phase approach, which is very simple. First, what we will do is like a secure adoption. Here, for a company, like we will sit with the customers and we do recurring workshops and understand like what are the key pain areas in their business, and out of these key pain areas, which one can be addressed at a very low cost. So ultimately we are targeting the lowest hanging fruit pertaining to their business. Then what we'll do, we understand what has to be developed or what kind of solution has to be developed to resolve this particular pain area and deliver the value in first 100 days of engagement itself. So DX can be implemented in a shorter term, it can be implemented in a longer term, but in this way what happens is like the customer gets a value within a shorter span itself. That is the approach. So next is like once the secure adoption is over, aligning with the digital times. So you have to understand the current systems, connect the systems, then design scalable foundation to for digital services. Focus on services to enhance customer acquisition and retention. So I already told like customer acquisition and retention or the following the digital customer experience is highly important. So those kind of adoption, everything can be scaled up. Digitize the operational workflows. So why do you need to digitize the operational workflows? In order to reduce your operational pain or operational cost and make the process more efficient so that it gains more value out of it. So now transforming. So this is nothing but you are competing, you are going to beat the competition. So continuously you are designing, testing and deploying new digital offerings because you already made a base, like you did a you identified the lowest hanging fruit and deployed some kind of MVP or minimum viable product, and then you start scaling down some kind of process. Now it's time to slowly tap to your competition. So here ultimately what you're doing is like you are slowly starting the disruption. You are keep on understanding the market and keep on innovating, testing and deploying new digital offerings. So this way you are disrupting the market, you are disrupting your competition and trying to remain competitive in the market. So understand the strengths, drive new business models, constantly add stakeholder value, leveraging evolving insights. So this is the three-phase approach. You can see some, it can be implemented in 2 to 3 months, 9 to 12 months, 1 plus years. So if it becomes 1 plus years, it becomes a long-term approach, but it actually starts with the three-phase approach. So this is one of the case study how a chemical manufacturer uses a digital transformation for customer experience. So this chemical manufacturer actually, they have a lead customer life cycle. So this is the so the customers can approach to these particular manufacturers via different platforms. They can approach via website, social media, or campaigns or something like that. So once a request comes, that is marked as a lead. Then one, the sales executives will be working upon this lead, and then they'll try to convert it as engagement, and then to opportunity, and finally to customer, and then a loyal customer. So this is the cycle. This is the traditional lead customer life cycle, which this particular chemical manufacturer, which is one of our customer, follows. So what they wanted to do is like, okay, make this cycle run in a more efficient way, reduce the cost associated with, and try to gain more value out of it. So we proposed a digital strategy for them, where we implemented some of the solutions. You can see one solution is like LTV prediction. So we predicted what is the customer lifetime value associated with a lead. When a lead comes up, okay, what would be the value associated with the customer? It is based upon the pure historic data patterns, the characteristics associated to the customer, which is compared with the existing data. And then we assume, or okay, these are the parameters associated with that. And then our engine was able to give a lead rank. So based on the lead rank, now executive can decide, okay, yeah, these are the hottest leads, these are the called leads. So hottest leads yield a more conversion probability. So those can be worked upon. So the automated nurturing or next level was like assign these leads to efficient sales executives. So that particular thing was done using lead segmentation. So the lead was segmented and it was assigned to sales executives. So what happened was like the lead assignment process was optimized drastically. The effort associated in going through each lead and selecting that particular lead, which will produce highest ROI, was reduced. That effort was reduced, and it was very easy for the sales executives to take up the highest possible lead, with the highest probability to convert into a customer. So this particular process was done, and next step is like, okay, coming to the opportunity. Based upon the customer pattern, a product recommendation engine was launched, so that he can understand, hey, this customer has a particular characteristic, so the different products can be suitable for this customer. So these kind of recommendations help the customer, also help the sales executives create new leads. And once the customer uses the services, uses the product, he is satisfied with the company and he becomes a loyal customer. Now he introduces his recommendations, which is tracked using NPS and behavior analytics. So behavior analytics, NPS, CLTV, lead segmentation, lead ranking, all are some of our AI engines which we adopted or which we deployed for the chemical manufacturer for implementing part of the digital strategy. So this is one of the case study. And next one is like next one is like how paper manufacturer used digital transformation for operational excellence. So here, what we faced is like we had a higher partnership or higher value with paper giant who manufactures papers and delivers it to different distributors. So this paper manufacturer, the main challenge evolved was like selecting a supplier with a proper pricing pattern. For example, this what happens is like this manufacturer, paper manufacturer, requires different raw materials for supporting the manufacturing process. The supplier delivers different chemicals for assisting the production of paper. And first thing what the supplier does is like he signs a contract with paper manufacturer for supplying chemicals. And second one, Supplier generates invoice and delivers chemicals. The third step is like supplier hikes up. This was the problem which the customer faced. The supplier hikes up chemicals price frequently, saying like intangible reasons, and manufacturer gets confused. So similarly, what happens is like the manufacturer has no choice other than following the supplier's invoice. So what they decided was like, can we fix this using some of the digital transformation strategies? So our engine, Suyati's engine, helped them to predict what are the fair prices of chemicals, raw materials from time to time based upon all the parameters. And now this engine predicts the price of chemicals, and the supplier manufacturer or the manufacturer can take this output from the AI engine and predict, okay, negotiate effectively, saying like, hey, your price is not tangible. So the supplier will get confused, or oh, this guy analyzes my patterns, or this guy knows a better pricing than me. So the negotiations happens in an effective way, and ultimately it reduces the purchasing cost, or it reduces the procurement cost. So that's it about the entire session. So we have covered about the digital transformation evolution, and we discussed about different trends associated with the digital transformation pertaining to the manufacturing industry, and we discussed about the associated case studies, and I think we have covered almost everything. So in case if you have any questions, or any, if you want any related case studies, any experience building activities, any training sessions to be conducted for digital transformation, you can approach us at my email id akamath@suyati.com, or you can reach me in my mobile number also, or else you can directly go to our website suyati.com and approach our sales and marketing team, and we will do maximum help for you, and we will cater you. Thank you. Thanks a lot for joining this session.